Prestige Car Wash. As most like 80 groups, you know, some paperwork files at Elm Street. This is Attorney Keefe. Connors represents them, and he'll give you before review of why we're actually here today. Before he does that, two other counsels that are ANC, Council Advisor Kathy McMillan, Council from Ward 7 neither of which sit on one of the groups where this is currently seated, so my modification is currently at. So I'm going to let Attorney Keefe speak. I'm going to ask every one of you and have you sign the law, your concerns, and then I will kind of give you an update as to where the city is at following all of this. So, Attorney Keefe, please.
Thank you, Councilor Licata. I hope everyone can hear me. We thought it was maybe a better setting. We're going to kind of speak this way, but if you can't, I'll drop behind the microphone.
Jamie, I just want to confirm you are recording.
I am recording. 781 News.
You can. Okay.
So, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, Councilor Licata. Thank you, Councilor McKinnon. Thank you, Councilor Gates. My name is Sean Keefe. I'm an attorney with Connors & Connors here at 16 Main Street, Waltham. As Councilor Licata said, petitioner here is Titanium Group LLC. They do business as Prestige Car Wash, 101 Elm Street. And this is regarding a matter that's presently before the council, specifically right now the Ordinance and Rules Committee of the council for a special permit modification under section 3552 of the ordinance. So we organized this meeting at the suggestion of Councilor Licata, the suggestion of the chair of the committee, Councilor Harris, other members of the council, to provide you all with a public forum to comment and discuss on the matter. But before I kind of open it up to you all, I figured it'd probably be beneficial for everyone if I give a little background and history of the site and how we got to this point. As I said, the petitioner is, legally, it's Titanium Group LLC, they go by Prestige Car Wash. But for practical purposes, it's two brothers, Ronan and Amir Drury. They have over 20 car wash locations in Massachusetts. They also have different gas station locations. Long-standing, good businessmen that strive to be good neighbors wherever they go. Here in Waltham, they've owned the site for a little over 6 years. They've been involved with the Boys and Girls Club. They've tried to be responsive to concerns here at this site. They've previously added some sound attenuation around their central vacuum system based on comments that they received. And I think that their efforts to be responsive neighbors have already kind of shown in this process. It dates back to January of this year. So over the last 10.5 months, we've worked closely with Councilor Licata, the building inspector, the council as a whole, the Ordinance and Rules Committee, to try to approach this matter in a positive way. And we've already kind of made some changes throughout the process. To give you, again, a brief background, this location, 101 Elm Street, it's been operated continuously as a car wash for over 50 years, since 1972. It was allowed by a city council special permit. As was very typical permits at that time, they're very short on detail. It's about a half page in length. It authorized the site for an automobile laundry, also known as a car wash. And it was subject to a plan that was submitted in that process. Similarly, plans at that time being drawn, not a lot of detail to them, but it did show things like where the building was to be located, parking spaces, vacuums at that time. But between the granting of that permit in 1972 and the petitioner's purchase on August 1st, 2018, prior owners undertook a number of changes to the site. Some done pursuant to building permits, for example, a small machine was built in 1977, but many done without any permits, such as the addition of parking and vacuum on the western side of the site. And none of these without returning to the council to approve any changes. And as part of this process, we submitted photos dating back to Google Street View dating back to 2007, showing all these changes. As you all know, upon acquiring the site in August 2018, the petitioner did make changes to the parking layout, addition of a new vacuum system, but we feel it's important to note that unlike prior ownership, these were not done unilaterally. At the time they acquired the property, they went to the building department with plans for their current layout, the site and the vacuum system. The prior building inspector did not require a building permit, but they did obtain permits from the wires department to wire the vacuum system and other electrical and wiring upgrades to the site. They've since pulled 2 other permits from the wires department, leading up to most recently this year. So again, nothing they've done over there has been done unilaterally. They've tried to go through the proper channels, tried to speak to the appropriate parties to go out. The present matter that's before the council, it's not due to any other proposed changes that they want to make. They've operated the site in the same layout and manner since they acquired it in 2018. The reason for the current matter before the council was due to violations issued by the building inspector in January and March of this year as a result of traffic backups going on to Elm Street. So I'm sure everyone here remembers the train horns a few years ago. As a result, there was a lot of curbing installed around the tracks. So previously, if there was ever people waiting to get into the site, they could pull around, go about their way. But that ability was kind of removed as this curbing went in. And I speak for the city, but it's my understanding that they're working on a solution to this to get rid of the curb. But back to the process here. Upon the issuance of these violations, they retained our office. We immediately got to work with Councilor Ocala, the building inspector, to work out solutions. The building inspector requested that we make this filing to the council for a special permit modification. Traditionally, matters like this have been handled through this process. And he basically said, if you get me a plan that shows the existing conditions of the site, and I have up here, and remember it's free to come over here. The original plan that we submitted back in June showing the layout of the site, so that he would have an enforcement tool to address any issues such as traffic backups at the site. During the process with the council, again, our first meeting back on June 10th, we worked with Councilor Ocala, committee, building inspector, and we made further changes to the site. This updated plan, which includes removal of some parking spaces and vacuum hoses at the one portion of the site. We've also crafted what are called conditions, basically enforcement tools for the building inspector, mainly a traffic control condition, which in short says that if there is traffic backups into the street, you can basically issue violations. And the building inspector reviewed that language, submitted a letter to the council on June 17th, confirming that he thinks this would be an appropriate tool for him to enforce any such issues. We've also included a condition mandating continued compliance with the sound ordinance to provide another enforcement tool for the building inspector. Through this process, we've tried to be in communication with all parties interested. We filed over the summer 100 signatures in support. About half of those we verifiable walk-in addresses, but again, the suggestion of your ward councilor and the chair of the committee, we thought it appropriate to kind of open this forum to get additional feedback. So with that, I hope that gives you an understanding of kind of what the matter entails and what we've done thus far. But we want to open it up to have a dialogue with you folks and hear what you have to say. So with that, we have, as Councilor Ocala said, we have a sign-up sheet. Just feel free to write your name and address and open it up there.
Please, we'd like to hear from you guys, your concerns with the car wash, the current conditions, and what you wish to see. So please feel free to make any statements you wish.
special permit you guys operated on, you said you made some minor changes. When we started having residents live with us at 431 River Street, there were point-operated vacuums there. There was not a 24/7 leaf flow going all day for 7 days a week. The noise is absolutely horrendous. When they put in the 24/7 back in 2018, the noise was so bad we had people moving out of it. It was so horrible. It was unbelievable. And I really take issues with a few things that he said. And I think this is partially across the room here. Ronan and Neary have not been good neighbors to us. When that noise started, we tried to settle it as neighbors. I went over and said, hey, that is extremely loud. People in the building are moving out. They're complaining. This is a scourge on the neighborhood. He said, okay, I'm loud. You know, so first of all, I'll start with one of his employees. They wouldn't give me his phone number, wouldn't allow me to contact him. He contacted me from an unknown number and said, I'm going to put a wall around it. Don't worry about it. Was not going to be a good neighbor. Was not going to give us his phone number because he didn't want to hear from us. And I have a particular issue because I only found out about this meeting yesterday. And we had 34 individuals, actually way more than that, probably 80 individuals and families who live in that building who were not notified of this meeting. We only found out about it yesterday. So I do have some feedback from the residents that are not able to be here today, but who have serious concerns about this scourge on the neighborhood. The traffic is horrible. The sound is horrendous. I wish I brought a recorder in here and just held it during this meeting because it goes for 12 hours a day. It's obnoxious. It's obscene. And the owners have not done enough to mitigate it. But I won't just speak for myself. We'll have people who live, who are your neighbors who didn't know about this meeting, who would like to express their concerns. Anna Kim at 503 would like to express and oppose the car wash and special permit. We've been experiencing noise issues from cars blasting music while parked in the vacuuming at early hours. First and foremost, this is from Greg Perry, apartment 301. First and foremost, the noise generated by the car wash during its current operating hours already can constitute a significant disturbance to residents in the vicinity. High decibel sounds associated with both the wash equipment and the vacuums are intrusive and disruptive. Additionally, patrons often play loud music in the vehicles to overpower the noise of the vacuums, exacerbating the disturbance. The issue extends beyond noise pollution. These are critical public safety concerns related to the traffic congestion. Captain Command, apartment 402, they are super loud. The music blares all day from the vehicles and the lights that they have installed that are 24/7 shining directly into our apartments. They also cause extreme dangerous traffic conditions. And I think, actually, I have another letter from a resident who's here. I don't know if she'll come up and speak, but I am strongly against it. They are noisy all day, constant screeching sounds, and it's worse when more vacuums are being used. These are just 4 people who were able to respond to the notice that we received yesterday. And I would be shocked if you came to our building. I was never informed of it. No one ever came over to his direct neighbor, the blue building across the street. Got 400 signatures. You don't have a single signature from anyone in our building. These guys are absent tonight. They would not allow us to contact and settle it outside of the public forum. We just wanted to settle it as good neighbors. They weren't there. They're sending a person here in there instead because they have not been good neighbors. The noise is awful, and I don't think they need to say anything else. If you go by the car wash any time of day, imagine living next to some of our leaf blowers going on 12 hours a day. It is obnoxious. Sound radiation is key. I think there should be a sound study to make sure that people aren't suffering long-term health consequences. If you're driving around that intersection, it's obvious. It's an absolute disaster. So that's what I'm here to say. It's not just coming from me. It's coming from your neighbors, our residents. They've all
16A Gorham Street. So Gorham, to get to Gorham, you have to take Elm Street all the way from the other side. So the past 8 or 9 years I've lived there, I've traversed Elm Street. And there is a distinct difference in what it was from, 2016, 2017, through 2020 or so, and in these past few years, as far as traffic backing up, especially very close to the train tracks. It makes that intersection, that turn from Elm Street, might be continuing from Elm Street to Elm Street, there in the intersection of the river, even more dangerous. The previous layout of all the vacuum spots, to vacuum kind of had a parallel park. So your car was still facing in the direction of the exit, going from north to south. The way that it's been arranged now, everything you can pull in. Even if you're pulling at an angle, you need to pull in the vacuum, which means you're backing out, you don't have great visibility, there's lots of cars moving around. I noticed on the updated plans, it seems like 2 of the vacuums at the northern tip of the lot have been removed, which I appreciate seeing. I still think it's very difficult to maneuver to a few of those next vacuums. Driving up on the sidewalk, really, it's not accessible with the dark curb cut. There was a sign at one point as you were coming from the common down there on Elm Street that was, use signals to all turns, because you get a lot of confusion with folks coming down from the common. Am I taking a turn down Elm Street, going to cross the river? Am I going to continue going to River Street? Am I going to turn in to the car wash? And I wouldn't be surprised if that sign isn't there anymore because a car hit it. Someone backing up, just kind of being clumsy. The preferred orientation of all the cars, there wasn't a lot of details on those 1970s plans. That's one of them. A bunch of arrows saying, hey, everyone's coming from the north down to the south. And now you have people moving in so many different directions. It causes accidents, backups, and really becomes a stressful situation for all kinds of traffic in that intersection.
Hello, my name's Mark. I live in the apartment complex across the street, 431 River Street. I've lived there for almost 10 years, and the noise coming from the current business, Prestige Car Wash, is it's an absolute nuisance. Every time I go outside, I can hear the vacuums running. I live on the 5th floor over there. I can't even imagine living on the 2nd or 3rd or 4th. I'm on the top floor, and it's unbearable for me. Even if there's no cars using the vacuums, since it's free, it's running from open to close. When no one's using the vacuum, no cars in the lot, I can still hear the central unit humming extremely loud. I can't sit outside on my balcony without hearing the car wash and the music. I can actually hear it from inside my apartment with the windows closed and locked. On top of the vacuum noise is the music that comes with it. The customers don't want to hear the music, don't want to hear the vacuum. They play loud music. We across the street can hear it all, music and vacuum. Even with just one car there, it's outrageous, and sometimes there's 20 cars there. 20 different loud music sources, and all the vacuums running. More than the noise is the safety of the traffic, which we've talked about. That intersection, Elm and River, is really active, especially during rush hour. And with the free vacuums, it causes traffic jams many times a week. How long until one of those traffic jams backs up to the railroad crossing and causes a disaster? One question I have is if this business has permission for the free vacuums currently. The previous business had a coin-operated vacuum, and we never had problems with noise, and we never had traffic jams. I believe requiring 25 cents or any kind of payment would solve both the issues that we're currently having. In a perfect world, we wouldn't have any vacuums. but having them for free, causing constant noise pollution, dangerous traffic jams, and should not be allowed. And I hope that I hope we don't expand the hours of this inconvenience, the dangerous traffic jams. I think we should be looking into the current issues and how we can solve them instead of making matters worse. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Anna. I live on River Street, far and away, that I think we don't have to hear the noise of it, but I do frequently go to the converter station, and I think I have sort of like safety concerns, really. Basically throughout the entire summer, which is, I think it's at its worst, there's always cars on the sidewalk, they always tend to be angry. I'm not sure if that's something that the car wash can handle, but we cussed out by people waving like that in the car wash. But I'm most curious to see if there's any sort of explicit plan to deal with that sort of cars on the sidewalk issue, because I think it really is a safety concern and a sort of accessibility issue for people trying to get to and from the commuter rail station, which is right there. And yeah, I heard from people who said before about cars backing up onto the train tracks. Every time I walk past there, it always seems to be getting a little bit closer to the train tracks, and I'm definitely really worried about that.
My name is Donald Thibodeau. I live at 422 River Street. Traffic from the common is a problem, but people coming from the other way, they make a left turn to go to the car wash, and that's when they block the street. But nobody can go by. It's no, that's a problem. The other problem is that, like they said, the music. They're vacuuming their cars, music at full blast. Like the guy said, you hear it from inside your house with the window closed. You know? It's not, no. And in the summer, you want to sit down on your deck, have a cookout or something, they're louder than us. Don't need to have a radio, you listen to off on the music. The motor, at first it was really loud. It did come a long way with the noise with the motor, the vacuum. It did come a long way, but when it first started there, it was unbelievable. You know, it was louder than my TV in the house. So it did come a long way, but it's still loud. Para que
I will read it to record someone who sent me an email. I couldn't make it, so I do want to make sure her voice is heard as well. I apologize, I did forget to print it out, so I can read it on my phone. I live in the vicinity of the Charles River Greenway and have enjoyed walking, jogging, cycling, and bird watching along the path. The Department of Conservation and Recreation has restored the native plants to the Greenway, which has brought back birds and wildlife. In 2015, the DCR completed the path over the Elm Street Bridge, which provided a continuous pedestrian pathway that links the upper Charles River Reservation. In 2015, there was no interference with the peacefulness of Elm Street portion of the path. The previous car wash business that was on 101 Elm Street was quiet and blended into the environment. Christie's Car Wash is different and has constructed a quiet and enjoyable experience along the section of the river. The only time to have quiet in this area is before 7 a.m., which is when the car wash motors start. The motors are musically loud for the area, and I've noticed that there are less birds in that part of the river. The noise ordinance from Waltham weekdays from 7 a.m. to 5 a.m. and weekends from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. I recommend this ordinance be followed by Elm Street Christie's Car Wash. I recommend the car wash uses quiet ordinance. Waltham resident 33. I just wanted to make sure that was correct for everyone here.
somewhat related to what I've already spoken about. If you're walking up Elm Street, car wash on your left, cars come out from the car wash and they park to dry off or to use the bathroom. The water runs off into the street and the sidewalk turns into a patch of ice. And they don't do anything to resolve that, and that's a huge safety issue as well. Water from the car wash causing ice on the sidewalk needs to be addressed.
Thank you. If you'd like to respond to some of those, things, then
Yeah, so I mean, I'll just respond on a couple of things. And first and foremost, thank you for the comments. That's the whole intent of this. Some of this is new information that hasn't come up through the council process, and now it's things that we can, take that further. Just on the notice, I'll just say that, we filed it with the clerk's office 2 weeks ago. We sent out mailings per state statute to owners within 300 feet. So, that's all I really want to note, that, we did follow a process that's defined in the state statute. I can't say why or whether you received it one day before, but, that our intent there was to give as much time as possible. I do, and this is information that I received from the building department, the sign that was referenced, that has been knocked over. It's actually confirmed to us that the sign next to us during construction, that sign was knocked over a couple times. So that could be something that potentially is looked at further. As far as the hours, someone referenced expansion of hours. There's no proposed expansion of hours here. The hours are going to stay the same. The hours that the vacuums would be running are in accordance with sound ordinance. As I referenced, there was a sound, police in Waltham were charged by the sound ordinance to enforce the sound ordinance. They did respond based on a complaint. They did a testing at various points of the entry of the site, various points away from the site. Part of the sound ordinance discusses how high you are above the ambient noise in the area. Where this is a downtown site, there's obviously some ambient noise. They did pass that test, but as was also referenced, they have looked to attenuate sound on the central system. We have been discussing potential further options there. Someone had asked about Anna had asked about the backups and maybe what that would entail. I can actually just read that off. As I said, the building inspector has reviewed this and basically said it gives him an enforcement arm. But the language that would go in a condition that's reported at the registry of deeds says to prevent traffic backups from the site onto Elm Street near the railroad tracks and intersection with River Street, as well as other busy days throughout the year. On-site employees shall monitor traffic entering the site from Elm Street during high volume periods, and employees should be posted at the site along Elm Street to provide traffic control. During times where on-site traffic is filled with on-site stacking lanes, said employees shall direct vehicles trying to enter the site or back up onto Elm Street to continue driving and return at a later time. Said employees shall also ensure that vehicles entering and exiting the site, particularly those for vacuum spaces, do not drive over or onto curbing. The city council is relying on this offer if this condition is not in effect, without which it would not grant a special permit. Obviously, it's not been approved yet, but that last sentence is, kind of a, as I said, it's an offer of fact, the council likes all other conditions. I'll also note, and as part of it's not on site now, as part of their proposed conditions, there is essentially a pay kiosk that petitioners have at a lot of their other sites. It was not something that was allowed to be put on the site. Some people may know they have membership there, so part of that employee being out of the site, people have memberships, they'll scan them in, they can get paid quickly, and this pay card will do the same thing. Per the petitioners, waivers that's offered here. And there was, as I said, a lot of this stuff, and that's why we're here, it's new information, it's stuff that we can take and look at further, so we appreciate the comments, and, you know, thank you all for being here, so if there's anything further, I'll address anything further, but otherwise, if there's anything else.
Thank you, sir, please. So I just want to keep you in a few things the city's doing. The finance committee actually just approved some monies to widen River Street. Obviously, when the curbing was put in place to spell the train horns, it really affected the flow of traffic in that area. And we have granted money so they can extend that street to kind of allow that traffic pattern to almost return to what it was before the curbing was in place. I don't think it would be a perfect fix. I have actually since reached out to the traffic engineer about a year and a half ago. The traffic commission, which is a commission that is not, and it is independent by city council, we want to sit on this commission, inquired the traffic engineer to study that site, to look into other mechanisms to which we will then still be able to keep the train horns off, but we'll be able to get rid of the grand curve. One would include double mast arms. That would be, the mast arms would come from all four directions of the train, which would then allow us to pull that curve, which would open up the traffic. This is multifaceted reason. This isn't just a car wash issue. That is something that I've been asking for to help with that traffic, whether that was a car wash or a parking. It's something that we needed. The curbing affected that traffic pattern more than I could assume it would. But it was needed as the quickest way to get those warrants that the federal government required last one in the city. One other item I'd actually asked for, but I had to do that, was that it was missed by the traffic engineer, is more another do not block the box striping, which helps that intersection where people understand that it's the big white X's that when traffic is queuing up, it's to ask them to stop before these boxes, which will allow more cars to move coming off of Elm Street from the car wash coming out of that building across. And that hopefully would keep some traffic to be able to move to the south on Elm Street when needed. Again, Attorney Keith had spoke to the sign that was knocked down. That's something I talked to Mark about. He was very upset when that sign that Amy referenced went missing multiple times. He actually did go after the car wash. It was the neighbor who had knocked that sign down. Because that was an issue that the city was not pleased with when they saw that come down. They did initially think it was a car wash. So they did go around cars. That was not. Please, do that.
Well, like I said, that's fine for coming from college, that's fine. People coming from the other way,
Come, yeah.
leaving left turn, and it don't back up, there's nowhere to go anymore. They're sitting in the middle of the road, nobody can move, nobody can go beside the cars.
I don't disagree with that, yeah.
You know, I've been in it too many times. One car, two cars, blocking the whole track. You take a left turn. You should do all the way around, come back only one way maybe. But that's, you know, that's the problem. That's where the roadblock is.
Anything else? I don't think the city has anything else in front of them right now in terms of that intersection. But I think if anyone else has any questions, please. I'm not going to go anywhere until the last person here leaves. If you want to speak to me privately, if you don't want to stand up, I don't want to be quoted, I'm happy to talk to you to the side. I will be at the next ordinance rules meeting on Monday. I don't sit on that board, but I have every opportunity to speak. I will bring some new concerns that I had to hear and still have some